Ready to go live. All right. I think we did it. So let's see. Please work on the other side of this. Oh, go live.
Me and
All
technology are
right.
not friends, so this is all.
Oh, I think we did
There we
it.
go.
I think we did it.
Yes.
All right, guys. So we are streaming live in 3 different places. We are brand new to this lovely StreamYard technology. So we're hoping for the best. But we can see everybody's comments on all different platforms. So come in, ask questions, join us. This is all about our retreat that is coming up this July. We call it the Limitless 2.0 experience because I don't think retreat does it justice. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And we have Dr. Nick, who we are obviously co-hosting. And then we have the master of this specific area, Sal, who was really the one who
And
just came to us and was like, "Hi, I think you should do this." And I'm like, "That
yes,
sounds amazing. Let's do it."
yes,
And of
So
course, Nicole comes to me and goes, "By the way, we're doing a retreat in Italy." And I was
literally,
like,
literally, it was like
"Oh,
one
well."
conversation. She's like, "Yeah, it's done. We're doing it." Scene.
I was like, "Yep, okay."
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm like, any reason to get myself back to Italy and then,
Yeah.
have people join the party.
Exactly.
And so Sal has done retreats in this location for, it's been 13 times, correct?
Yeah, 13 times. I did multiple retreats. Sometimes I would do like 2 in the summer. But yeah, I've been doing them for a long time. And obviously, like COVID, COVID screwed everything up for a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's amazing because I want people to know that are looking into this that this is our first time hosting in Italy, but this is not your first time. And we
no,
are collaborating together so that this is seamless, easy, and super, super fun because that's really the foundation of it all for us.
yes, absolutely.
And
It's
so,
always the goal is to use everybody's zone of genius. And is that the town that you actually grew up in, or really close to it?
So I'm first generation. So my family, my mom and dad met in the village. They met each other in the piazza. They courted and whatnot. They got married in Italy. They actually got married in the church that is right near the piazza where we have lunch and everything like that. Then they came here to have us kids, and then we were all like my whole life. My mom would send us there for 3 months to be because both my grandparents are still there. One's passed away now, but my whole family was there, so she would send us there for the whole summers. So I really got to like immerse myself, and I didn't have to really learn the language because my parents didn't really speak great English. My mom still has an accent, so I kind of got forced into both cultures very, very quickly. But
yes, and I'm very happy to have you because I try my best with Italian. I get by great in restaurants, but when people want to have more of a robust conversation, I'm like, and there's
oh
the
yeah,
deer in
yeah.
headlights.
For sure. And especially like each region has like we have our own dialect in Lanola, which is like it's similar to like a country dialect because we're considered like country because we're like
Mhm.
in the middle of nowhere kind of. So our dialect is kind of hard to understand as well. And everywhere you go, there's all different, dialects. And I even have trouble understanding people from the village over from us. They'll talk to me
Mhm.
and I'm like, what are you saying? So,
Well,
It's kind
it's
of like me
funny
growing up
though.
in Iowa. I have a hillbilly, dialect from Iowa, and it's like when you give me a couple drinks, I'm like, what is that language?
y'all.
That is that is relevant.
That's funny.
Um, well, I find it funny that you say middle of nowhere because I feel like talking about Nick being from Iowa, middle of nowhere in the US is actually very different than middle of nowhere in Italy because one of the features is we're not only going to be up, in the hills and with these amazing views, but we're also going to be going out on a boat, we're going to be going
Yeah.
to a beach club. So there's a lot of really awesome things that we have planned, but one thing that I want to preface with is that back in the day when Nick and I were thinking, this was probably 2 years ago, we were thinking about doing some type of retreat or experience. And we wanted to be really, really heavily focused on healing. And we were going to do all these different modalities, et cetera. And after going to Italy, we realized that half of the healing is detaching and living in the moment, living in the present, enjoying yourself, sitting down with no cell phone and having great conversations, and eating real food that has real nutrients.
Yeah.
And immersing yourself in the most ridiculously gorgeous, crystal clear water. And that is something that honestly just changed how I look at life in general. And we realized after we had a conversation with you about this idea was we want people to come, we want people to enjoy themselves, we want them to experience the culture, experience the land, experience the water. And the main thing that we want to do is we want to stimulate really, really amazing conversations. We want to host one workshop a day that is actually going to be a crash course in what we call our higher self architecture. And it's to, one, help you get clarity of who you are at your core and how you can leverage that to create a life that is your 2.0. And that's why it's called the Limitless 2.0 experience. And this is about now we do this workshop and you're at lunch and you are having these amazing conversations with the new friends that you have from the retreat or from the community. And you're able to just be like, oh my gosh, I had this amazing breakthrough. Or, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to change once I get home. Because I don't know if you've had this experience, Sal. I think so many times people go on these different retreats or trips and it's an escape. And then it's like the last few days, they're like, oh, they start getting stressed because they have to go back to quote unquote reality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I want people to say, I'm going to go back and create a better reality.
Yeah. Well, I feel like because I mean, there's plenty of retreats in Italy. You can throw a rock and hit plenty of places you can go. But I think when I first started doing the retreats, I noticed that there were a lot of retreats, but none of them. And I know how my village works, and I know how special I feel there because you're stepping into somebody else's network. The village is already a set network. Literally everyone knows everyone's last name, who their parents are. You can't go 5 feet without, like, it's a network. So I feel like when sometimes people go to Italy, they don't feel like they're part of it. Where you're stepping into their world essentially, and you kind of, there's nothing else to do but absorb it. So, and even culturally, I think when, especially Americans, when they go there, they see that people are actually conversing. They're not sitting there on the piazza on their cell phones. They're actually, it might be yelling, but they're conversing. Yeah, it might be, there's always something.
That's how we talk.
Yeah, exactly. But even like the younger generation, like when they go out for coffee, they meet a friend for coffee, they're having coffee. It's like, it's not like, it's very different. But I think, when people go there, they feel, even though they're only with them for a week, they feel like they're part of the community because by the second day, they know your name. They're already asking questions, or I'm interpreting for you. And they already feel like, oh, that's Daniela. I met her yesterday. She made my coffee. And by the second day, they know your name. They know your coffee order. Like it's different
so nice.
than going to like a more touristy area where they might forget you next week because there's another influx of people coming in. Where there, it's like, and I have, I talk to my family all the time in Italy, but every time I go back there, people from the village are like, oh my God, do you remember that girl that you brought, 3 retreats ago? How is she? I remember she, like, they remember everything because there's no tourism there. So once you come once, that's it. They remember you for like ever, but I think, for the Americans, they have no other choice but to assimilate because there's nothing else to do. Who are you going to talk to on the phone? You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to talk to your friends?
But it's almost odd for you to be attached to your phone because when you look around, because we were even in more touristy, busy areas. We were in Sorrento and the Amalfi Coast, and I remember it was one of our last days there, and I was looking at Nick and I got tears in my eyes because I was just like, I don't want to go back to that because we were literally sitting in this very, very busy cafe, and everyone was talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. There was
Yeah.
no cell
You'd
phones
see like
out.
groups of
Yeah.
6 to 8 young kids, and they'd all be running down the street with their hands and their arms
Oh,
over
yeah.
each other, singing and dancing, and nobody had a cell phone out. Nobody
Nobody
was like
has,
doing any of these things.
and that's just built into the culture. That's not even like a regional thing. It's just Italians, like they rather spend time with people. And you know, even like when you get invited for over there, like if you get invited for someone over to someone's house for coffee, you're there for 3 hours. Even if it's an espresso, you're there because they like to talk, they like to, and also culturally, because everyone sort of lives on top of each other in Italy, so like a lot of the houses are close by, where here in America we can have a mile between people if you want to. You're almost the network is tighter because they have to see each other every day. You have if you want food, you have to go to the piazza. You have to see everybody there. You know, so I think they're very tight knit, and I think Americans lose that sometimes. So when they're there, they're like, oh my god, like the whole village helps each other. Like, I share a lot of stories there. Like once people get to know like most of the village, like by the second day, they kind of know who the characters are and where, you know, who, yeah. But I'll tell them stories like, oh yeah, this person, like one of the people in the village, Stefano, he's like a regular. He's always around, you know. But my dad like taught him how to walk when he was like, because his parents like abandoned him. My father taught him how to walk, you know.
Oh my gosh.
No, literally, because no one, you know, so and the village kind of takes care of themselves. Like they all and the same way, like when I would go there for the summers, my mom would send us, but she would come like 2 months later. And then I would tell her, she was like, oh my God, ma, that's cosa, or you know, whatever her name is, like she hit me across the face because she was like, what were you doing? And so they'll discipline you just like they don't care. Like if you're part of the village, you're their kid too. They don't care. And tell
That
your
is
mom, go ahead, see what
hilarious.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
it's
you
very,
you
it's a very
mentioned the
small.
word food, and I was like, this is
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the top features.
Well, I
And
will. Go
ahead.
So with the food too, I feel like a lot of people aren't used to like quality good food. So like simple, like not a lot of ingredients, and a lot of times we'd be eating and they'd be like, oh my God, what's in this? I'm like, olive oil, salt, and cheese. Like yeah, but it's
the
the
quality
of the food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the what's absolutely
Nicole got yelled at when we were in Italy for wanting to add things to a sandwich. And
oh my God, I wanted to add vinegar to my mortadella sandwich. And this woman looked me straight in the face.
No.
She's like, no.
no.
In Italy, we say pecado. It means it's a pecado means like it's a sin. Like no. You get meat and bread. That's it.
Yes, I know. Oh my gosh, I got in a lot of trouble. But
and it didn't need anything else. It was amazing.
It really didn't, but whatever. So one of the things that I found mind-blowing, and this has also been when we got home, we were talking all about Italy, and people were like, oh, I wish I could go. And, you know, I just, you know, I don't have the money or got to save up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just get your flight. And once you get there, the cost of everything is significantly cheaper than here. And I was in tourist areas and it was still insane. You know, $10, $12 for pasta, 7 to 10 euros for a liter of local wine. And I know that in your village, it's even more reasonable because it's a smaller village.
Absolutely. Like and especially because we're so small, I feel like the restaurants and stuff that survive there, they survive because if the locals don't like your food, it won't survive. It's not like you're in a big city where you have a lot to choose from. It's like if your food isn't good, it just won't survive. Your restaurant will shut down.
And it's high standards.
and because they're so small, like for the retreats that I do now, let me go. Because it's so small, a lot of stuff is I call it like boutique food because they're not like the restaurants there don't have these mass kitchens where they're holding all this meat for a long time or all this produce. So when you're there, it's like, okay, you want you want fresh pasta, let me know because I'll get potatoes from the market, I'll make gnocchi, I'll get meat that day. And it's less wasteful and it's also better quality because we're not buying in from farms, we're not buying in from these mass places. Like the food in Lenola is either locally sourced or sometimes a lot of times the restaurants will have their own forms of it. Like some people have their own meat, some people make their own cheeses and olive oils and whatnot. So it's really kind of like boutique style food because it's all handmade. Like it just doesn't exist.
It's not the
there.
same.
It's
Yeah.
not the
And
same.
I found, and I don't know as much in Lenola, but when I was in the Sorrento area, there was citrus trees everywhere. So
Everywhere.
people had lemons. People were jarring their own tuna because they were right on the sea. They were harvesting their own olives. So
Yeah.
we literally had part of our suitcase filled with the gifts from the people that we met.
Love it.
And
And it was
and
all from their
I-
own garden. Like
Yeah,
they wanted.
that's
yeah, from
That's
their
how they were sharing
property.
their love. They're like, we had an amazing time with you. Share this. I want to give you what's
Mhm.
important to them, which was food from their land. And it was just
Absolutely.
like, oh my God, I'm like so excited. I'm like, we're not gonna get anything from Amazon.
No, never. No,
I'm like
never
so
again.
excited.
No, even because like here, like even like the food there is very seasonal. So like sometimes like you only have, a lot of the ingredients will have like a 2 week span. So like
Mhm.
figs are at the end of the summer, but sometimes like in mid-June there's like sour cherries, which
Mhm.
they make a liqueur out of. They make jams, but they're only available for 2 weeks. So you have that span, and if someone gives you something like that, that means like they really like you because it took them time to harvest, it took them time to
Yeah.
can, and the food too, because it's not being largely like mass produced. I found that a lot of the people that come on the retreats don't have the same allergies that they do in America. They don't have the
Yeah.
gluten allergies. They don't have the lactose allergies because it's different milk.
Mhm.
Even the milk there is you go to the store, you're not getting, there's not thousands of gallons, you get like a few and that's it, and it goes bad within like 4 days because it's fresh milk.
Yeah.
Eggs, everything. It's just your body feels better even
I
though
mean,
you may be eating more because
I ate
Italian food loves
pasta
to
and
eat.
drank wine every single day, and I lost weight. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah, exactly.
why am I
Better
not living
quality.
there?
Yeah, people that come, they're like, I was expecting to be like blow up like a house. She's like, I'm actually losing weight because the walking, the better food, and it's nice. I love
Yeah.
it.
A lot of stress.
Well, we're over the moon excited about this. It's going to be such an amazing experience. For those of you that are here and curious, we have an entire layout on our site and even a downloadable PDF that breaks down day to day what we're going to be doing, where we're going, all the fun adventures. But talking just a little bit about logistics, I know that we've had some questions coming through from people that have already signed up, and we want to make sure that we just give like high level overview. So
Mhm.
basic stuff, we are going to be providing transport from the airport. We are having everyone fly into Rome, correct?
Yep, Rome
And
is the closest.
we're shooting for people to get into Rome before around 2 p.m.
Yeah, but if what I do is if I see that some people have booked their flights later on, I will provide two transport times, so to make it easier for everybody. If for some reason you can't do it, I'll make sure that people get in.
And then once we arrive, we're going to be doing a lot of walking. So people that
Mhm.
are interested in coming, just be aware that, there is a high level of activity. Obviously, you are welcome to sit out for anything that you want to sit out, but we have anything that's going to be a longer distance, we'll have transportation, correct?
Yeah. So everywhere we go, we have transportation too. Where the hotel is situated is at the top of the mountain,
Hmm.
and to get to like the center part of the village, you take down these beautiful stairs, and it takes you into like the center part. It's not a far walk. It's like maybe 5 minutes. Like you just have, it's downhill. But I do. If I know people don't want to walk, I'll drive up and grab them too. So it's
But we
not.
gotta walk off the pasta and the
That's
wine.
true.
So
That's true. Well, there's a lot of
gotta
walking because
create that balance.
everywhere in Italy is hills and stairs. So no matter what,
Yeah.
you're gonna get some walking in. But
Yeah, no, it's old,
it's
and it's
old.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it was when we were in Amalfi, it was definitely like it was amazing in my
Mhm.
opinion, but it was some
Yeah.
serious
I realized
walking
how
and
heavy Q
trekking.
was, baby Q.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
like, bro,
yeah.
you
Oh
are
We didn't
yeah.
have a
dense.
stroller, so
Oh god. Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Especially Amalfi Coast is really hilly.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
also love that, some of the major things that we're going to be doing, you've already done. You have connections,
Yeah.
between beach club to going out on the boat and,
Mhm.
some of the other things that we're going to be doing, going out to the amphitheater. Like you've
Yeah.
done it, you know the area, you know it well. And I love this because it's just going to allow everything to go really, really smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like because the good thing about the retreat is that because you're in the center of the village, in the downtime you can do whatever you want. Like there's walking around, you can just go get coffee, you can do whatever. I try to plan it out so like there's enough downtime where you can just chill out. But there is, I mean, we do something every day. There's always, there's always something to do, and a lot of the things that we do are more relaxed based. Like we go to the beach. Once you're there, you just kind of relax. You go to the
Yeah, and
bar.
do whatever you
Like,
want.
do whatever you want. And what I found, like by the second day on the retreat, I already find that guests are already going into the piazza by themselves. They're already getting coffee. They already are kind of like, they like to people watch,
Yeah.
So there is a lot of downtime, and especially at nighttime. So in the summers in Italy, especially in like my village, randomly there could be just all of a sudden they have a band playing in the middle of piazza, and then and so a lot of the stuff that we plan sometimes they get moved around because all of a sudden it's like, oh, we thought we thought we are gonna have a talking session at 9 a.m. but we were out till 2 in the morning because there was a band. So it's like stuff gets moved around, so be flexible with that kind of stuff, and it's good because especially in the summer nights, there's always something going on. There's always music. There's always something, festival wise going on.
Yeah, the Italians can stay up late.
You're not joking about that 2 a.m. Like when,
and
when we were there,
kids running around. There'll be like 5-year-olds running around. They don't care.
Yeah.
No.
And what's wild though
is they get a nap in the middle of the day. What do they care? They can go to work in the morning, nap from 1 to 4. Who cares?
But it's the energy. Like we met up with some locals. They actually went out of their way, like half an hour to drive to pick us up. Took him to his sister's house that was along the sea. He made us dinner along with his friends, and we chatted. And all of a sudden, I look at the clock and I'm like, Nicole, it's 2:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He was asleep on a bed upstairs, and I'm just like, didn't feel like 2:30 a.m. Like I never see 12 a.m. Like it was wild.
I found that the nights like one time I went, we were going out and one of the retreat guests wanted to get like a gelato, and I was like, okay, like we'll have a late night. We have an early morning tomorrow. Let's go get gelato. 3 a.m. we were out, and every time I say, oh, we're gonna be home early, like 3 a.m. It's but it's good because the energy's there. You match the energy that's there. Why would you go home and go to bed when there's a festival going on and people and yelling?
I love it.
Yeah.
And then one other question I know that came up a lot was people were just asking about accommodations. And so we have a nice blend of hotel option, we have apartment option, but as you mentioned, everything is close to the piazza. Everything is going to have walkability to cafes and restaurants and shopping and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. The apartments so if you like air conditioning, because there is like in Italy, the houses just don't have air conditioning. It's very rare that houses have them. But if you like air conditioning, definitely stay in the hotel. The Lanola does get like, I would say 15 degrees cooler at night because we're high up. But it's still, if you like to be cold, stay in the hotel. But the apartments are nice because I found that the people that stay in the apartments kind of curated their day. They got up, they made their morning coffee, they got eggs from the market, they had some scrambled eggs, they sat on their balcony. So if you that fantasy is also nice to have in the apartment, and the apartments are literally steps from the piazza. So if you like to just like get up and just go right there, you're good. But people that want to like curate their day and then kind of like hang out and have like a little nook, it's a good way. Yeah. But the hotel is at the top of the mountain. They redid it completely before COVID. So everything got gutted, and then obviously COVID happened. So no one's really been in it. We're actually the first ones that were in there last year when we did the retreat. So no one really goes there. And because Lenola is so remote, no one really goes there. You know what I mean? Like no one's staying there. But the hotel has an attached bar. It has an attached restaurant. So at nighttime it becomes a restaurant. But the rooms are separate from there. So you're not going to be walking through the dining hall to get to your room. You have to go upstairs. It's not like you're in the middle of everything. And the hotel also becomes like the hub at night. So a lot of people will come there at nighttime to have drinks and whatnot. It's really nice. But again, separate from, you're not going to be walking through anything to get to your room. So
love that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you feel like is important for people to know about just like the logistics?
I would say,
Just like bring your party pants and like.
bring your party pants. Don't even bother bringing heels because you're not going to wear
That's a
them.
good point.
don't even bother. Wear some comfortable, nice shoes. I would say that
That was my biggest mistake when I went to Italy, and I was just like, why did I bring heels at all? Like, you just
pointless.
don't.
And I see some of the women in the village try to wear, like, platforms are okay, but like I see some women try to wear high heels, and it's cobblestone. You'll break your neck. Don't do it. Yeah, for what? No.
Yeah.
But I think logistically, I think what I found that the people that do come, I think what they have to remember is that this is a remote area, so they're not going to be able to go into the cafe and order in English a coffee. I mean, they'll understand cafe, espresso, and stuff like that, but they
Google Translate.
And you know, and they're really good. Like, they're used to, like, the people that run the cafes, they're used to like myretreats.com, so they're like they try to accommodate a little bit. But I think it's not a culture shock. It's almost like, how do I say it? Like, you have to kind of mold yourself to the village. Like, you know, where sometimes you can go to places and you get accommodated. You can order in English, like, you know, whatever. There, you kind of have to accommodate to them. You know what I mean? It's like you're in their world. And that's really it. I think if people are ready for to be kind of to be an environment where you feel like you're already part of a family, because that's what it is. The village is just a giant family. So I feel like if you're ready for that, then go for it. You know what I mean? It's being in a family with a little bit of a language barrier, I would say. But I'm there 99%.
I'm like, speaking of, this is my my little book, and it's actually super helpful. This is great, but Google Translate helped us all the way through. So it's definitely a great tool for people just to be able to order basic things.
Yeah. And like I said, they're really accommodating. Like, you know, some of the people know a few words of English, you know, and you can kind of get by. But I think it's nice to kind of, what I found, that people that come on the retreat, they all of a sudden have to practice their Italian, because you can't just kind of go by. So I feel like it's fun for people to come and actually, you know, and I think Italians are very different in that as long as you try, they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
As long as you try, they don't care. They just want to feed you. Like, they're not working on your grammar. Like, they don't care. As long as you're there to eat, you're fine. You know.
Or you can just be like me and smile a lot and hang out with people like Sal and Nicole and let them do all the talking.
That's it. Yes. But I'm there. Like, I mean, I'm there 99% of the time. So to help translate and whatnot. But I find that, like, by the second day, people are already like, you know, having their own conversations with people, and, you know, it's fun.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, I really can't say enough. Italy is a very magical place, and we're extremely, extremely excited about this collaboration and this experience that we put together. And again, for those of you that are just hopping on the live, we just want to reiterate, this is really all about having fun, having some really great experiences, living in the present, detaching from the stressors of life and the, you know, constant connection to media and email and text message. And it's really your time to just be in nature, have great conversation, experience a culture, get out into the absolutely amazing Mediterranean Sea, and just enjoy yourself. Live in the moment, live in the present, and also discover a little bit more about yourself and how you can cultivate your 2.0 using the tools that you gain from the experience with us.
Yeah.
So if you guys have more questions, we are happy to answer them. In addition to this, we have a landing page that you can head over to. You could see the link here. Even if you just go to integrativeview.health, there is going to be access to the specific page for the Limitless 2.0 experience. We have a lot of information. We have an itinerary of what we're doing every day, and we have the opportunity for you to put down your deposit so that you can lock in your spot.
Yes. Yeah, because the hotel is definitely limited. So, like, again, there's only a certain amount of apartments and a certain number of hotel rooms. Like, the hotel has 7 rooms total, you know, so definitely it's one of those things where spots are limited, of course.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think we actually already have 6 people committed.
Wow.
So we are really only looking for a few more.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys take advantage of it and join us this July. It's the 21st through the 27th. But thank you, Sal, for being here.
No
Nick, I know
problem.
you barely got a word in, but it's cool.
No, please, because I'll just go on and on because I love it so much. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep going. I don't
Yeah,
care.
same.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks for
See y'all
being
later.
here.
Bye bye.